I want to welcome all of you to the first episode of the Basement Cuts podcast. I'm excited about this one, guys. I am your host, Woody, and I'm going to be bringing you interviews from musicians, fighters, athletes, any type of artist. If you're an actor, or do you paint? Do you create stuff? Come and see me. I want to talk to you and I want to promote who you are. So this first episode is just going to kind of get you a little taste of what it's going to be like here on the Basement Cuts podcast. So my first interview is a good friend of mine. He's got an album dropping today. We're going to get to all that here in the interview. But I got the privilege and honor to interview my good friend, John Lord's LFDY. So here is that interview on the first edition of the Basement Cuts podcast.
All right, everybody. So my first guest on the Basement Cuts podcast is a good friend of mine. He wrote and recorded a song for my other podcast, and we have an album. He has an album coming out today. It's out and available for you guys to listen to today. So please welcome my brother John Lord, better known as
Yo,
LFDY. What up, my
what's
boy?
good? What up, Woody? How's it going?
Doing good, man. First off, let's make these people jealous. What's the temp like there in Vegas,
Ew.
bro?
It's a beautiful day today.
Is it?
You know, yeah, it's sunny, nice. It's just I don't even need a jacket today. It's just such a good day out here.
Lucky. I mean, it's sunny and nice here too, but it's like 16 degrees, you know?
Right. IF.
Yes, sir.
Idaho with their bipolar weather.
You know how it is, bro. Like, I think we got rain coming pretty soon too, so it's about to be way
Okay,
bipolar.
shoot, maybe tonight we'll see.
So, bro, let's start from the beginning and stuff. I mean, we just mentioned you got an album coming out and whatnot, but
You,
let's start from the very, very beginning. Where were you born, my guy?
I was born. I'm a military baby. So I was born in Fort Knox, Kentucky. Okay, but I took my first steps in Idaho Falls.
Okay.
But yeah, all my siblings, we were all born in different states.
Different states, military kids,
Mhm.
moving
Yup,
around a
yup.
lot. But you guys basically settled here in IF for a while, right?
Yeah, yep, all over the Northwest, but Idaho Falls was the first step for
First
me
step, yep. We'll
once I
get to
left.
you moving around here in just a little bit because you kind of do bounce around, but it also influences kind of your music in a way too. So, speaking of, what was your early influences in music in life? Like, what was going on at the crib to like you started vibing with early in life?
My parents were huge on music. My dad with his classical rock, my mom with her 90s R&B, my
Okay.
sister with her R&B as well, 90s R&B, but a little bit. Actually, my mom was before 90s
She's more
actually.
like the '80s, right? Like Whitney
Paula
Houston,
Abdul, Janet
Paula,
Jackson, yeah.
yeah. So late, like mid to
Uh,
late '80s, early '90s,
right.
and then Sis comes in with like what, like
You
mid
know,
'90s, Usher,
right. TLC and
TLC.
Aaliyah
Oh
and
yeah,
them.
TLC was actually my
Uh,
first CD I ever owned when I
oh
actually
no,
got CDs when we switched
yeah,
over from
right.
cassette
What are
tapes.
those? What
What
are
are
C
those?
compact
What are
discs?
those?
Yeah. Then my brother, my older brother, with Bone Thugs, Easy E, and gangster rap
All
and
right.
shit. That
So
was my brother and my sister,
so
but
like every room you went to, you basically could groove to something different.
yeah, just music all over the place.
So pops, you said a classic rock. Are we talking like um old like Air Supply? Or are we talking like Metallica?
We're
You,
talking, yeah, we're talking Ozzy, we're talking Kiss, we're talking Alice Cooper,
so we're
we're
talking like
talking
the
Led Zeppelin.
original metal type stuff from back in
Oh
the
yeah.
day, like the thing that
Mhm.
started it all.
Right, and you'll hear a lot of references. If you listen closely to my music, you can tell that I'm a fan of that, and I
Right.
still listen to it. I got it on the radio in my car at all
That's what
times.
I'm talking about.
Mhm.
So took your first steps here in Idaho. You got a lot of musical influences. When did you kind of like, I don't know, write your first song, I guess?
My very first song. Okay, so my sister's baby's daddy. He had a CD case, and I would just go through all the CDs and stuff. And one of the CDs was Ice Cube, and he had like two songs on there, and then the last two were instrumentals.
Right. Okay.
And yeah,
I have a
that
Tupac CD like that.
yeah. Ghetto Vet was the name of Ice Cube's song. I did I wrote my very first song to Ice Cube's Ghetto Vet.
Dang.
And I
And
was
I'm
like,
sure it
what,
was
12?
nothing like Ghetto Vet though.
Right, yeah, right. It didn't keep up. It kind of, sounded like a 13 or 12-year-old,
Yeah,
you know.
I could imagine.
Yeah, the basics. Everything you would expect from a 12 or 13-year-old to write on a pad.
Right. Right. So you end up in Oregon as a teenager, right? Does
Yeah,
that sound
yeah.
about right? And then
No, actually, I went there in middle school as
middle
well.
school, yeah. So the right,
Right.
like the tween years, they call it
Actually,
adolescence.
elementary too. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I was
okay.
actually there for a while, but
So
spent
when
more
you were
years in
there
Idaho.
though, you kind of that's when your music's really started, like you started like, I think this is my thing kind of in a way.
Right. I was just obsessed with writing. I was already obsessed with music. I was obsessed with hip hop. I would look everything up. I was, I couldn't get enough of hip hop. And yeah, let's see. Yeah, I just started rapping at a young age. Everyone was starting to take notice, and
So
yeah, they yeah,
speaking
yeah.
of you, everyone's starting to take notice. You end up going to a wedding here in Idaho, right? So
Right.
this is kind of how you began your actual musical career in a way. So tell us a little bit about the story about you coming to the wedding and how it all really
Right.
began for you.
Yeah, my cousin Katie, she was getting married to this guy whose name is Swift.
Swift, what up,
And
Swift?
yeah, right, he started 33 Deep, but back in the day, before 33 Deep, it was BOS. And
Right. Okay.
I went over there to my uncle's house. There they were. Um, yeah, and we were just watching rap battles. Next thing you know, they said something about a studio downstairs. We go downstairs, there's the studio, everyone's rapping. I'm like, holy shit. Like the first time ever being in that environment. Couldn't get enough.
Almost like starstruck in a way because you're like, wow, this is really
Yeah,
happening right now. Like to
right.
me, like if I was a kid that was your age
Hmm.
at the time and I walked into a studio and I was like, wow. And I actually
Yup.
saw this going down and people throwing down on the microphone with beats and everything. And then they had you get up on there and everything. I'd be blown away.
Hmm. Yeah, and to see that level of talent too,
Yeah.
like, yeah, that stuff, I'm telling you, like, the stuff that they were coming up with back then, I feel like it's lost in time. Maybe it's somewhere on a scratched ass fucking CD somewhere, but like, the stuff they were coming up with at the time, I was so motivated after being exposed to it. I was like, holy
Yeah. Maybe we could get a hold of Swift and try to get some of that sample or something from way back.
right, if you know some of those lyrics, he knows lyric. He's so good at memorizing his lyrics. I don't understand it. So maybe we can get something out of him.
Maybe. I mean, he's got thousands of songs written,
Right.
recorded. Well, not even recorded, but written, and he's memorized every single line to every single one of them. You
Yeah.
know,
Somehow I need to record on the spot. Like I'll write. I
and
won't
then
even write the full verse. I'll just write like a few bars, and then like I need to record it so I can capture that emotion.
or
So
see that's kind of how I am. Like I can write it down, and then if I don't put it down on something, I kind of lose it.
mhm.
You know,
Right.
and
Right.
then I come back to it. Maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right, you think about it too much, and it's just like I feel like there's a power in not thinking, right? Like, of course you need to think, of course,
Right.
but there's also a power in just the I guess you could say it's the law of least effort, right? You just go out and do it, don't overthink it, and just, and that's kind of my approach to making new music.
Right. So you guys, you go to this wedding, you blow these cats away, and they
Of course.
invite you to joined the group, basically, right?
Yeah, I want to say like a couple years later, I ended up moving from Oregon to Idaho to join 33 Deep.
And you were up in like the Boise area at this time, right?
At the age of 16,
The
left
city
my
of
dad's
trees,
house.
baby.
Yep, moved in with my sister. She was supporting my music ventures, and yeah, the rest is the rest is history.
The rest is history, as they say,
Right, as the kids say.
as the kids say.
Yeah.
So now you're in Idaho. You're with the group. You guys start recording the first album. Was Hip Hop Redefined?
No, it was 208 redefined.
208
Yeah,
Redefined. Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Because Idaho had like a specific sound, I feel like, when I first moved down there. It kind of had like a lot of East Coast influence. There were other guys,
Like in the
Beatdown
Boise area.
Productions. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
they were tight, but we wanted to give Idaho like something new, a whole new sound. And yeah, so 208 redefined, and then Hip Hop Reborn after that. And yeah, people talk about those all the time still. So we did something right. We did I.
So 208 Redefined was like your first introduction. You were kind of still a baby. I mean, you're a teenager. You're with these guys
Yep.
that have been doing this for a few years. They're at least 10
Mm,
years older than you. And then you guys
right.
come across a guy named Young Bone.
Young Bone.
You're Young
Yeah.
Bone, rest in peace, my brother.
R.I.P. Bone.
So
See
you
that?
guys add him to the mix, and
Yeah.
that kind of really brings the whole crew together and like the flow. And when you guys do Hip Hop
Yeah.
Reborn with Young Bone, I feel like that's where you guys start catching a groove and start
hmm
really redefining 208 hip hop.
Yeah. We did 208 redefined. Swift would always tell me about Young Bone. He was with a different group back then. And Swift was with BOS, and they had worked together previously. We did 208 redefined. Then following that, he's like, "We're bringing in Young Bone." And yeah, and as soon as I met Young Bone, once he met the family, it was just such a natural connection. Like
Hmm.
it was instantly family, and it was always that way.
Yeah, and he's got so much love to go around, man. It's hard
hmm
not to vibe with Bone. And
Yeah, he had the best style to just vibe to,
he
and
did, and
yeah,
I
I fucking loved it.
me too. Me too. I still every time I listen to it, I'm like, Bone, get him,
Right,
because like
Young
some
Bone. Yeah,
yeah.
and he brought everyone together. Like he brought me and you together. He like
I mean,
if I
technically,
didn't know
he
Bone, I
ended up
wouldn't know you.
being the glue of 33 Deep in the end because he did bring everybody
Yeah,
together.
everyone. Yeah, he played such a big role. He changed. I mean, how do I just he did his part on this earth very well.
He
He
did.
left his mark. Yeah, he left his mark, and I have such close friends today because of him.
Hmm.
And yeah, I wouldn't have made it back to Idaho Falls without Bone. And
Right.
here we are. Here we are. Look at us. Here
Look at
we
us.
are.
Yeah, look at you now. So,
Right.
so a little bit about um, Hip Hop Reborn, though. There's a song on there that it's kind of like your solo song.
Oh,
Um, yeah, you already know where I'm going with this because
yeah.
you always tell me, bro, you don't understand. I was so young. I came such a long way, but it's still one of my favorites. I can bump it all the
Yeah,
time.
I
Um,
appreciate it.
and the song is "How You Want It." Show me my opponent.
Oh,
Listen.
yeah.
It,
Well, okay. So Lil Wayne was the youngest in his group. I was the
uh-huh.
youngest in my group.
Right.
So I really looked up to Lil Wayne back in the day. Still do. But back before he was calling himself the greatest rapper of all time, greatest rapper alive,
You're
right?
right.
Before then and stuff, he was always my favorite. So I wanted to like kind of express that on that song. And I wasn't as good as he was when he was that age. I think all my shit back then was cringe, but some people like it. But I recommend listening to the new stuff coming soon,
I mean,
coming today.
coming today, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
don't
right.
worry, guys. There's new stuff, and it's came a long way from that one. Um,
Yo,
and yeah, Lil Wayne stuff might have been better, but you got to think about who he had around him.
right.
You
He
know,
had a lot
he had some big time guys that have been out there doing their thing
big
for a little
times.
while. You know, if
Yeah.
so
Now look at him.
now,
Frank
yeah,
is right. Now he actually is one of the greatest rappers of all time from
exactly,
that.
exactly. Manifestation. He manifested his own thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So and then you guys do that. You add Bone. Then you move back to the If. You move back
Ah,
here to
yeah.
IF, baby, and then you guys start
Yeah,
recording "Appreciate the Vibe,"
that's true.
which is hands down one of the greatest albums to come out of this state, period, and one of my favorite albums, period, of all time. I'll be bumping
Yeah,
in
it's
the car,
fun.
and somebody that's never heard it's like, "Who's this?" I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah,
this is 33."
yeah. I love hearing it when I'm just, doing my thing. I'll hear people bumping it still. I'm like, oh, that's me.
Yeah,
Like,
hey, I know that guy.
oh, yeah.
So that one ended
Yeah.
up being big. Like you guys brought in Paul Wall to promote that album and did a show with Paul Wall.
Yep,
Um,
Yin Yang Twins.
Yin Yang Twins. I mean, you matter of fact, you just
Things.
posted a video on your YouTube and your Facebook about the Paul Wall show. We brought in
Right, right.
Haystack a couple
Right,
times.
Haystack. Yeah, Yin Yang Twins was the album before that. We
Yin Yang
we
was the one
kept
before
making
that.
the move.
That was still in Boise.
Right. Yep, yep. We
Yeah,
always made pretty big moves back then.
I mean, you guys were trying. You were making moves.
Right.
I mean,
Right, for sure.
we got Haystack here twice, and one of those times he actually had Jelly Roll with him back when Jelly Roll was an unknown.
Uh-uh.
Remember that?
No,
That's
I don't.
you don't. He came to the show and he's like, "My boy Jelly," and he played like one song with him, and that was it. And he just
Oh
sat
no.
there and watched the show.
Oh
But he
shit.
gave you guys mad love because we sold out that one
Right.
venue. We
Yep. Shouted us
packed it.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Oh
remember.
my goodness.
So
That was
that
wild.
album was wild. The whole timing was
Hmm.
wild. Do you have a favorite
Yeah.
jam on there?
On Appreciate the Vibe.
Yeah.
Hmm. Jeez. They're all really good. I still cringe at that, even though like, I was really starting to f come into my own for that album
Mm-hmm.
and everything to follow. Like that one was the best, the 33 performance on an album,
That's
that
because
we
you guys didn't
delivered.
get to release the follow up to that, but we'll get to
Right,
that. We'll get
exactly.
to that. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that so let's see. My favorite song on that, I really want to say Crush because that's when I realized it clicked. It's like, oh, it's like let's just be as lyrical
baby,
as
ooh,
fucking possible. Yeah,
ooh,
and
ooh,
I
ooh.
yeah, Chelsea, what was her name? Chelsea Winters. Yeah, I met her
Yeah,
at my birthday party.
right.
We're like, let's get on the song.
And she did a great
But
job, man, with that hook.
yeah. That was when I realized, there's a secret formula, right? It's not a secret anymore. I'm about to tell it.
Uh-oh.
When it comes to writing rhymes, just like being as lyrical as possible, and
Hmm.
making sense of it at the same time, which
Right.
I caught that part later on.
Yeah, not just
But
rhyming the rhyme.
right, right. Just what Young Bone would call lyrical nonsense.
Uh-huh.
Just lyrically just say it, but yeah, I kind of figured that out around that time. So I want to say that's one of my favorite songs. And yeah, following that, Bone is going to come out with an album, a collab, called Lyrical Nonsense with me all over it 'cause that was my style back then.
Yeah.
Some lyrical miracle is what they call it these days.
I mean, he used to tell me all the time, man, if he would just make his rhymes make sense and enunciate just a little bit,
Right. I'm like, it rhymes.
it,
It doesn't
dude, it sounds
make
good.
sense. Right.
I need my
But
finger in
yeah,
it. So my favorite, probably like everybody else's, is like Monster and Me.
Monster Remain. It's such a good that had such a good energy to it.
Such a good
That's
energy. You
everyone's
put that
favorite.
on and it's like, oh, it's about to go
Mm,
down type song.
right.
And I
Oh yeah.
and I also like that one, yeah, no way to go.
Oh, I think Also, one of my favorites is we reppin' that they bout it, we must. That we be
Oh,
reppin'.
that one's actually on Hip Hop Reborn, bro.
Oh fuck. I'm getting this
But
shit
we could
all
talk
mixed
about
up.
that because I love that song.
Yeah,
Like
right. I'm just
taking
thinking about all
shit
of our good
and
ones.
roll out.
Yup,
Yeah,
yup.
that's a great one. And you guys performed that in one of your last performances together, which was awesome. I thought it was
Mm-hmm.
cool.
That was always one of the best ones to perform because the build up, and then I start off like, brrr,
Well,
and
and the
then
beat behind it, like it's like Monster and Me. It's like Monster and Me for Hip Hop Reborn. It was like Hip
right.
Hop Reborn's
That's
version of
why it
that,
came to
you
my
know?
mind.
It was like
Yeah, it
it's
has
in
that
your
same energy.
face. It's like
Hmm.
here we are. And then you guys
Yeah.
came out with Monster and Me to follow it up on the next album, and I think that had like the
Yeah.
same vibe, you know?
Yeah, that's why I got them confused because
Because they kind of flow
they
together in a way.
yeah, they're both strong as fuck. We always performed them both, together and
Hmm.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Always vibing on those songs.
Yeah. Good times back then,
So
you know.
unfortunately, Appreciate the Vibe would be the last album because you guys did start recording another album, but things just got rocky and hectic in
Right.
people's lives, and
Right.
people,
Everyone went and had kids
yeah,
besides
people had
me.
kids. Yeah, you were like, I need to figure out who I am. So you need,
Yeah.
you had like some growing up to yourself to do. You're like, I've been doing this the whole time. So
Yeah.
people had kids. Some people moved away. You end up moving back to Boise in the Caldwell
Yep.
area, and ended up getting into basically another form of your life, Plan
Yeah.
B. You changed
Yep.
from young Berna, or and then now you're young B. So you're transforming
Yeah.
because it's a whole new chapter of your life. You're starting all new. You're by yourself now. You're not part of a group. So
Right.
how's that?
Yeah, my music career, you can say, is like comes in chapters.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, and with every chapter, I change, my alias and stuff. It's my thing. It's what I do. All right. It's like,
I would almost call
you
it
know,
like a movie because you're doing different acts because you only got like what
yeah,
one more transformation as we talked about previously between the
yeah,
two of us. So yeah, it's
right.
almost
This
like
is not my
acts. And
final form.
no, you
Right,
got one
right.
more
We're getting
coming.
there.
But
Yeah.
this is your second form though, Plan B.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
what? How did that evolve?
Uh, I wanted something. I was trying to go a specific direction, and I was like, I want like, Brenna sounds like a gun. That kind of doesn't really sound appropriate. I pronounce my R's pretty well.
Hmm.
I'm like, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna try to come up with a name that sounds more household and stuff. I was just really catering. I wasn't really being as authentic as I should have been. Even though I came into my own, or I was starting to come into my own and everything, I evolved really well and everything. But yeah, that was still just part of the growth, part of the journey.
Part of the journey, and you released a couple albums as Plan B. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
and I remember. So Boise has a local channel, a local TV show, and I remember you were on there one time
yeah.
with a friend of yours. That what was his name? Junior.
Lil Junior,
Lil
Jay
Junior.
Keys.
Yeah,
Yep, he
you
always
guys
played the
were
talk
on there,
box.
and you guys performed. What was that like, man? I mean, that was probably like your
That was
first time
awesome.
doing something like that.
Yeah, on television. All of Treasure Valley. It was called the Treasure Valley View. Shout out to Stevie K. It was on the Stevie K show,
Steve
which
K.
I was signed with them. I ended up once I started doing solo stuff, I was like, this is a good opportunity. Signed with Darian Fox Music, where if you looked at their history, they had a bunch of really talented artists under them. So I'm like, okay, this is family here. We're still family and stuff. But yeah, they also had TV on lock and got me on because I put on a really good performance, I like to believe. And yeah, that was my first on television performance and interview which you could tell I'm very nervous. I recommend not ever looking at the interview, but you can watch the performance. Never.
It was his first time, people.
Right. There's still lots of firsts going on. And I'm just kind of, just you just gotta do it.
Right.
Just gotta jump in.
Great.
So be prepared to see my face on camera plenty times because people don't see that enough. That's another first coming.
Yeah, there you go.
More firsts.
More first.
Right.
So you're in with this new production group basically, and you got like this family of artists that you're working with. Didn't you guys do some ciphers and stuff too while you were up there?
Yeah. Yeah. Got involved with as many ciphers as I could. Yeah, uh I ended up going from Darren Fox Music to messing with Masterminds, which they were like the shit in Boise. And
They're
Swift ended
really
up
good.
signing with them. Yeah. And 33 Deep and Masterminds were like a brother team right
Hmm.
there. So so it made sense that 33 Deep and Masterminds would end up being under the same wing and part of the same team.
And if you guys want
And
to
yeah,
check any of those out, they are available on YouTube.
yeah, Mastermind Ciphers, and spelled with a
Mastermind
Z.
ciphers, and you just check them out, guys. They're pretty dope. You'll see some stuff
Yeah,
in there that you had no idea would come out of Idaho. Like you would think these
exactly.
guys were from other places and stuff. They're pretty amazing. So
Yeah, for sure.
you live there for a few years, and then you get this itch to move to Vegas. Like, what was
Right.
what got you to
That,
do that? You said it was supposed to be temporary
right.
originally. I think we talked about. So
Yeah, I just knew I had to take a Lewis and Clark journey, right? Just leave, come back with a pot of gold and shit.
uh,
So I left. I left, and then I fell in love with this place. I love Vegas, and here I am. But yeah, I moved down here and really found myself as far as my artistry and stuff like that.
right, and this is where the next evolution starts to come in, right?
Yeah. So like I transformed again, catch 22. 22 is the numerical equivalent to my last name. However, it is a bad affirmation, so I was like, I need to change it again because it was
It didn't stick
bringing
around
on
very
some
long.
energies, right?
Yeah.
But but at that time, I found a guy from Buffalo, New York, and he taught me the elements pretty much of not just being lyrical miracle on my shit, but actually having that wittiness that the East Coast brings with their rhymes. And then from there, him and we formed Greatest Underrated, and we brought in uh, a recruitment. And he was from Mississippi. He actually went to school with Soldier Boy and stuff, and
Okay.
Eighth Avenue, Devon, Eighth Avenue. And I still have sessions with him. I had a session with him a couple days ago and shit. Yeah, and I really found myself then. So, Devin, Eighth Avenue, he came from Mississippi. I realized that the East is about the bars, right?
Mm-hmm.
The South, they're about the vibes, right?
100%. They're about that
Yeah.
crunk or that flow and whatnot.
They make you move.
Right. Yep.
Like yeah, they make your body move. So you put those two elements together with what I was working with, um, and there we go. That's where I needed to. That's where I learned a lot, and that's where I kind of came into my own. I like to believe.
Yeah, that's where you kind of actually created you. Like
Hmm.
you
Yep.
had a journey as Plan B, and you were still in that 33 deep vibe, even though you were on your own. And then you move to
Hmm.
Vegas and meet these guys, and they kind of teach you the different styles of hip hop and the way to make them flow together.
Right.
And then you start evolving into now LFDY.
Yeah. 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 Which, whew. Which kind of it was kind of okay. So we all lived together, and it was a party house. Okay,
Okay.
so yeah, it was pretty wild, and that's where that tone came from in my voice. I'm like, yep. So LFDY kind of came out of just a lot of carelessness, a lot of partying, a lot of being crazy. Uh, yeah, and LFDY also came about from just I'm not proud of it, but I was always under something. Like I was under the influence of something
Right.
during every
So you
single
were
recording
literally
session.
living fast and dying young
Exactly.
in the way you
Right.
were doing your thing back then.
hmm Yeah, and I still go by LFDY. I'm not saying I do the same things, but I do have coffee and weed.
No,
That's the recipe now.
right. You told me I
And
think once before that you go by LFDY because you're on a sobering journey,
yeah,
and it's
yeah,
kind
it's
of your
a
way of like, this is who I was, this is who I am
right.
now.
Yeah, this is a journey of sobriety now. And you know, I have one more transformation to go through, and that's once I'm able to overcome relying on something to kind of put me in that mode
Uh huh.
or zone out while I'm recording. So yeah, but I'm doing a really good job. This whole next album that I'm about to drop, Wheat and Coffee, for
Weed and
a whole
coffee.
month. And I record this whole album in a month off of Wheat and Coffee. People on Adderall can't even do that.
I
Maybe.
mean,
I don't know.
they might. I
Yeah,
don't know.
they can, yeah.
I'm not gonna challenge them or nothing either because we might get some. We
Right.
might get real lyrical nonsense when we do all that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah.
So this new
Let's not go
album,
there.
it's coming out today. It's
Yeah,
called
yeah.
"I Made an Album in December."
How about that for an album name?
I
I
love
made an
it, dude.
album in December.
I love it because I think it's kind of nostalgic in a way and
Yeah.
has some of those old bluesy style album vibes, the way they used
Yeah.
to name their stuff.
It
Um,
just tells you right there. Just tells you, okay, that's what this album's about. This is
that's,
December, so yeah.
but you technically started writing it in November because I was like, "Hey,
Yeah.
bro, I'm starting a podcast. You want to do my
Right.
theme song?"
Yeah.
And you were like, "Yes."
Yep. And it's funny because you asked me earlier in November and I got sick and I wasn't
Yep.
able to record it. And I barely got my voice back, like right after Thanksgiving. And I'm like, okay, here we go. I'm over here yelling, Spud! Kingdom in my voice, like I barely had a voice. And pulled that off. But the energy behind that song, it's so strong. I was like, how am I supposed to follow up with that? So it almost like halted everything because I'm like, well, I'm not gonna do another song until I can do something that keeps up with this.
Well, I think you even
So
messaged me right after that, and you're like, "I don't know if I can write anything else because that was
yeah,
just so hard." It was
right.
like
I was really
an
proud of
arena
that song. I
anthem
really was.
style song. And then you're
hmm
like, I just decided to keep that whole energy up on this whole album.
Yeah. So I wanted to match that, so it led me into that song, another song. And then that song had such a good energy. I'm like, how am I gonna top that? So I like did another song. And so if when you listen to this album that's coming today, uh, when you listen to it, so Spud Kingdom is last because that was a November song. But I
Okay.
had to add it because it started everything. But all the songs on this album, the entire track list is it's it was it's in order. Like I recorded this song, then I went to this song, then I went to this song. So it's all in order, and then it ends with Kingdom.
Okay, so you actually put it
Yeah.
in order as you recorded instead of the
Yes.
order like however you wanted it to be on the album. That's
Right.
dope.
Yeah. And for the new listeners, I wanted this album to be short. Okay, so I aimed to make it 15 minutes long. Like you could drive to fucking Walmart and listen to this whole album because, I feel like I need to gain the trust of a lot of people. And I
Right.
do have a long history of, in music, but back then, I didn't really practice consistency. So with that, you lose people and you need new people. And um, with this, it's like, well, everybody, I have my fan base, right? But I need I need to gain the trust of others.
Right.
So I'm like, here's a 15-minute album, really. Just a 15-minute listen, and hopefully I catch some new peeps on this journey, this chapter we're in.
Yeah, most songs are about 2 minutes long, I want to say,
Right,
that you did on this album.
right. It goes by really quick, but it's very entertaining.
So it captivates you quick, guys, and it doesn't lose your attention because it
Right.
it just goes, and
Yeah,
it
and it
and it
doesn't take your time.
it doesn't take up
Takes
your
a
time.
little
Like you
bit.
said, if you got a 15-minute drive to Walmart, you can listen to the whole album. You
Yeah,
you got to go to
yeah,
work for the day, you can pop it in,
exactly.
you can listen to the whole album, and on the way back.
Yeah, and I wanted it to be free too. So this is a free album. It's gonna air on my YouTube channel. Uh, as for right now, I might find other ways to be innovative, like, a physical form. I'm not saying CDs, but there's other ways to be creative.
There is other
And
ways.
yeah, so this is I would like this to be um I have ideas, okay? And I'm just gonna say that this may be the last free album. Like I think it's time for the artist to get paid, and we're gonna get to that. Um, just not yet. Right now, I'm in a giving mood.
Hey, the last one wasn't free, guys. Just so you know, he doesn't do this very often.
Yeah,
They're not
yeah,
always free.
right. I need my money, kid.
Sometimes I gotta beg this dude just to get a song, just to like, dude, let me listen to a song. Wait till the album comes
Mhm.
out.
Right.
No, man, I need a new music. Just wait.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to not be so try not to be too giving because I that's all I want to do is just share my music with people, but at the same time, that's not good business all the time.
Right. No, that I mean, it's not. You don't make no money that way, and you're not in. Like you're in this because you love it and you do have
Yeah.
fun with it. But let's be real. You would like to make some money out of it. Like, what does any
Yeah.
musician want to do? They want to make money on their stuff.
Right. I moved to Vegas with the mindset of if you want to become a millionaire, you have to serve a million people. So I tried all these different business ventures out, but I realized that I'm the product that I need to be selling.
One hundred
So,
percent. I
yeah,
call it
with
pimping
music.
myself. When I started the podcast, man, I was out there selling myself like crazy, and I was pimping myself out.
Right.
That's how I
Paper in
felt
my
anyway.
pockets.
Yep. I was
PIMP.
like, here, this is my podcast. Check me out. Here.
Yeah.
It takes a
Yeah.
lot, but it's worth it in the end.
Right. We're creators, we're the product.
We are.
So,
So, speaking of the product, let's talk a little bit about this album. Um, let's talk about one of the songs. First song I want to talk about is called "At the End of the Day." Um,
the end of the
it's
day.
This is a great jam. I'm gonna play it for you guys, and then we'll talk about it. So, here's LFDY. Here's just a little clip, though. I don't play the whole song. It's just a clip. So, here's "End of the Day."
There's just not enough time in the day to let BS be in the way. Please reset how you present. If you keep stress, keep it at length. Keep to your lane, meaning free from my vision. Could you read my face? Why can't you peep my game? Time travel, cause I think I need my space. This is why I live my best life. At the end of the day, we end up at the same place. At the end of the day, we end up the same way. That's why I live life right.
So, bro, end of the day. So,
A, A, A,
at the
A.
end of the day, what was you feeling on that one? Like, because
Yeah, I
the
just
way
wanted
I
to.
see it is like, no matter what you think you got going on or whatever I got going at the end of the day,
Mhm,
we all end up
yeah,
in the same spot, bro.
right. I wanted a happy feeling song, but it also talks about, at the end of the day, not just the end of the day, but at the end of the day, like we all die. All
Right.
right, so just, there's no time for the bullshit.
Hmm.
Let's live life the right way because at the end of the day, you know, this is inevitable. So fuck it.
I think that's one of the things I like about the song is that it's got that
Yeah.
happiness, go
Hmm.
lucky feeling when you're hitting the chorus, and then you break it down and you get a little serious on peeps.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that is the truth. Yeah.
I love that vibe about that song.
Thank you, thank you. I was really proud about it. It's one of the appropriate songs on the album.
One of
I
the
think.
appropriate songs. Yes, just so you
Right.
guys know, most of these songs they're in your face and
Very
they-
vulgar.
they're a little vulgar, not necessarily with f bombs and stuff, but with other things. And
Right. The most vulgar album I've ever made, I'll say.
yes,
Like, I'm just saying shit because I can. Free speech is back,
free
motherfuckers,
speech, First Amendment.
motherfuckers.
Just so you know.
Right. There we go. So yeah, that's my new approach. Is just speaking on my music the way I talk in real life. I just talk a lot of shit.
We'll get to that part later too.
Right, yeah,
So,
yeah. I have a song called Talk a Lot of Shit.
but the next song I do want to talk about is called Cook. So,
Yeah, yeah.
here's a little clip of that one, people. 1 second. Here is Cook.
Posted with a motive, floating like a blowfish. Oh shit, I'ma go in. If you go with it, I'ma own it. Good dick, I should've sold it. If it was yours, I stole it. Had her under the spell, hocus pocus. I can take the heat, I'm in the kitchen. No ice cream with me, but she licking. I brought the meat, baby, this ain't no picnic. All you could eat as seen in my dick pic. Yo, pussy just made my hit list. A hidden gem, I mean drippage. I don't mean to flex on them, no fitness. But I need to stretch first, look like a gymnast. No kids around when we kick it. This is where time becomes non-existent. That's why I'm like, don't lie, you would take a taste like a cook. You don't go by the book. You think you could, you should, but don't lie, you would place bait on a hook. Exactly why you look good. You think I could, you could, but don't lie.
All right, bro. So, I mean, I
Damn.
love it. This is one of them vulgar songs, people, that we were talking about. Because we all like to eat it. You gotta taste it. It's
Right.
just how do you cook it?
If you've ever cooked food, you will relate to this song, kind of.
Well,
But
yeah.
also if you've ever done other things, if you've ever,
It
if you've,
has
I don't know,
innuendos.
I don't know how vulgar I can be on this podcast.
If you
Okay,
like to eat in the southern hemisphere,
right.
then
Yeah.
you will
So
understand.
yeah, this song, this song wasn't, I didn't intend for it to be this way, okay? To be this vulgar and stuff, but like I just wanted to make a song that like people uh I wanted to use words that people already use and stuff. Like don't lie. You would.
You would.
Right, I say that all the time. You would.
Uh-huh.
Or don't lie, So I started off like that. Don't lie. You would. Take a taste like a cook.
And
Mm,
that's the
mm,
truth
mm.
right there. That's the thing I love about it because it's like, don't lie, you would. And then you talk about what you're cooking up, what
Yeah.
your recipe is, and then you're
Yeah.
like, so don't lie, you would.
Right. Yeah, it's there's that's another thing. There's another what am I gonna another part of my philosophy with music, okay? This
Hmm.
a new thing is I'm trying to use words that we already use all the time and stuff. I'm not trying to alienate anybody from their default settings, okay?
Right.
Like we're gonna say in my music what we say in our daily conversations. So that's one thing to expect in the music to come.
And the music to come, which is out today, peeps. So after we get
Day
done with this
33.
podcast, day
Yeah,
33, you get
day
done with
30.
this, you guys go listen to this album. You'll love it. So now, the last song I want to talk about, which we kind of brought up a little bit, talk a lot of shit.
Back it up. Yep. Oh yeah, yeah. You should show them a clip.
All right, I'm gonna show them a clip. So here's a clip of this song, guys. Here's talk a lot of shit.
I talk a lot of shit, cause I could back it up. Yo, bitch on my dick, someone's boyfriend's mad as fuck. I say I sleep so good at night, knowing you mad. Know what I'm doing so good in life, that's why I can't. I talk a lot of shit. Cry me a river, build a bridge and get over it. Although I do love to watch when you throw a fit. Not only did I tell a friend, but I posted it. I'll make you get in line like COVID did. You a whole little bitch. These kind of people exist. I'm a man, I'm a word, you a grown ass kid. Fix your face or I'll fix my fist in place to disfigure and eviscerate and anticipate a twist of fate which may have my hand raised.
All right, so I talk a lot of shit, but
Yeah.
I can back it up.
Fix your face or I'll fix my fist in place to disfigure and eviscerate and anticipate a twist of fate which may
Twist the
have my
fate,
hand raised.
twist the fate.
Yes.
Hardy Boy
Har-
shout out
Hardy Boy reference right there. A referee reference right there.
a
I got
little
referee
bit.
friends,
Yeah,
you know.
we'll talk about that here in a minute too. We'll talk about some of your other hobbies that you do down there in Vegas.
Right,
But tell
right.
me
Got a
about
few
this
things
song.
going.
Like, who made you mad,
Oh.
bro? Or did you make somebody else mad? Like, because I hear this song and I'm
Ah,
like, oh, somebody got
yeah,
mad. And this is first
right.
admit, this is like, here.
Yeah. This song, I was like, there's a lot of people mad at me. So I want to make the mad people madder. And yeah, that was kind of the approach there.
So basically, let them haters hate.
Yeah, exactly. Hate us 'cause they ain't us.
Just can't have fans
Yeah,
without haters, man.
exactly. A lot of people just, and I'm down to debate, but and as long as it's respectful, and if
100%.
you're not being respectful about it, and if you're just saying a little bit too much, I'm an artist, okay? I'm gonna say how I feel, not only to your face, but I'll say it on the microphone too.
Yeah. And then you can
So,
hear it over and over and over again.
exactly.
Because
And people
guess
are gonna
what?
dance to me saying, fuck you.
And he could talk a lot of shit, but he can
Because
back
I
it
can back
up.
it up. Y'all been on my
I
day.
love it.
Someone's
You
boyfriend's
gotta love
mad
it.
as fuck.
That's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Like, who mad, bro? Because you girl up on my knees, someone mad at you.
Right. I'm
Like,
not gonna give him a shout out, but there was somebody in mind. Someone on the block list
you know who
now.
you is. You know who
Right.
you is.
Having a meltdown in my DMs. Fuck you. I have a song about you and you're blocked. You can't. I might unblock you if let's do a video to it. I'll unblock you so you can see it. Fucking
Just for you.
meltdown,
Mm.
motherfuckers. Motherfuckers.
Motherfuckers. So if you guys like those three, I mean, they were just clips. So go check out the full album. It's out today, day 33,
Day
February 2nd,
33.
baby. It's
Yeah,
out
that's
now.
this is gonna be a thing. Every day 33, something special is happening.
Every
So,
year, day 33. And
you know,
this year, he's got three special events. We got day 33. This album's dropping March 3rd, which is 3-3.
yep,
Another
yep.
album dropping. And then on
Yes, sir.
420, for all of you smokers out there, and we're
All you
dropping
potheads.
another one.
Yeah,
So be prepared.
on 420, let me plug this in. On 420, so 33 Deep, one of our last songs that we have together, which there's gonna be more. I'm fighting for it. I'm trying to make it happen for our fans. But we have a song called Cushy,
Hmm.
and we turned that song into a video game,
Yep.
available on Android.
Yep. On
So
Google Play Store, guys. Check it out.
Google
Cushy.
Play Store,
It's
yeah.
pretty dope. It's a fun game.
And we have major updates coming, and it's going to be releasing on 420. We're just, I'm actually talking to my boy right now, Awu from 33 Deep.
Awu, one of the
He's,
originals. Shout out. What up, Awu?
yeah, what up, Woo? He's editing some of the levels as we speak, and yeah, he's the mastermind behind Cushy, and yeah, that's the a 33 Deep influenced game, which me and him are the team behind that.
And not only are they the team behind the game and making the video game, but these guys do the entire soundtrack. So if you want to
Oh
hear
yeah,
more of what he's got available on YouTube and Spotify and all these other places,
yeah,
you go play this game. There's more music on there. There's stuff on
yeah,
there that
yeah.
you haven't even heard yet because it's on the game. It's game exclusive stuff.
Right. I don't even know if that's been done. I mean, I know there are games with soundtracks, but like where the creator made the soundtrack, like that's kind of cool. So
Yeah, that
we
usually
have
they
that.
sub that stuff out to other people, so that is pretty sweet.
exactly. So that there is on Spotify, iTunes, and all the platforms and everything. So yeah, Cushy. Look up Cushy and be on the lookout. 420. There's an event coming tomorrow too that I'm gonna hit up. And yeah, I'm part of the cannabis community here in Las Vegas, baby. And yeah, video games and cannabis here in Vegas, and
And music.
professional wrestling,
Oh, we'll get to yeah.
and
Okay.
music and
All right.
wrestling. It's like,
So
what can't
professional
I do?
wrestling. We got to talk a little bit about that. So
We do. We do.
besides music, as a kid and even right now as an adult, one of my greatest outlets is wrestling. I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
professional wrestling.
Of
Um,
course.
of course, WWE. I do watch a little bit of AEW. I watched WCW back
Yeah.
in the day. You know.
Right.
Um, what about you? What was your like early influences in wrestling?
Of course, you have like, your Ultimate Warriors, your Andre the Giants and everything. Hulk Hogan is everybody's childhood hero and everything. Um,
I was a
aside
Warrior fan,
from,
but
yeah, my brother, he was all about Ultimate Warrior, and my dad, and I was too, but I had my who everybody's hero was, and I was the
yeah,
youngest, so
the
we
real
don't make.
American, huh?
Uh, but which we respect all the bumps he's taken in his life. So
We have,
not so much his politics, but we respect
yeah,
everything else.
man. He got booed so hard at the last pay per view; it was unbelievable.
Oh man.
Or was it no? It was the first
Yeah.
night of Monday Night Raw on Netflix.
Oh, Netflix, yeah.
Oh man, that was
I
horrible.
don't know if he's ever gonna recover. I
I
don't
don't
know if
know. I don't
anyone's.
know. It is what it is,
Yeah.
though.
They want to say it's. Some people speculate it's political, but it's not that. I think it's the fact that not only did he have those racist comments, but he's also just a big ass liar. He just lies
He does.
all the
He
time. So
does.
I think that's really what it is that people just don't like who he is.
I mean, say your prayers and eat your vitamins. And he was the whole
Right.
time
Still
he was
do
getting
that.
prosecuted for steroids. So
Yeah,
you
this
know.
guy. Yeah, just don't lie. Don't be a shitty person, people.
But you
It's
you
the
strike
message
me
here.
more of like a Rey Mysterio guy, though.
Okay, so you're right. I think wrestling before Rey Mysterio got unmasked is kind of a blur to me. Like I remember Rey Mysterio, he stood out, of course, because he's like the littlest guy. So I looked up to him a lot because I am not a tall person. I'm I'm dashingly handsome, but I'm not.
But
No,
we
I'm
might be
just not
vertically
6 foot.
challenged, okay?
You're right. I'm just not 6 foot. I'm sorry, ladies. You love me anyways.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, once Rey Mysterio got unmasked, that's kind of where I started watching it weekly. It's like really paying attention. I'm still mad at Kevin Nash, by the way. I have not gotten over it. Yeah, fucking Kevin. Ah,
Oh man, that bugged me so that was, I think, technically Bischoff didn't like masked wrestlers because I don't know if you remember, he didn't just unmask Rey Mysterio, but he was unmasking everybody at the time. Juventud
oh,
Guerrera, Psychosis,
yeah,
all of them were getting their masks yanked off them. And the
that's
ones
right.
that didn't want to take it off, they ended up out of the WCW. So
Yeah, that shit don't fly these days.
nope.
You gotta bring out the traditions, the cultures, and
Well, see, and it
yeah,
didn't really fly back then either because if you
yeah,
lose your mask in Lucha Libre, you lose it forever. That's like your identity. You're not supposed to ever get it back
yeah. Yep, I was so happy when he came back to when he came to WWE with his mask. I'm
with his
like,
mask on.
there we go.
Hmm.
There we go. Yep. I remember I took an old Vikings shirt and I cut it up and I made my own mask out of the
That
Vikings shirt. How old was I back then? What year was that? I think I was like, no, I was like,
was like
how?
2000, 2001, because he actually stayed until the end of WCW basically. So I think that
Right.
was like 2001.
All right. I was 11
So
in
there you go.
2001. So yeah, 11-year-old me cutting up a mask to make a Rey Mysterio, or cutting up a Viking shirt to make a Rey Mysterio mask.
Who's that jumping out the sky? REY
That one, yeah.
Mysterio, here we go.
Right, right. Yeah, I was very driven at that time. You
I,
know, that's when I started rapping too.
I mean, that makes sense because see,
Yeah,
I was a teenager at that time. I was huge into wrestling. I was
yeah.
more watching Stone Cold and DX and stuff at that point
Okay.
because,
So you're more of a WWF
well,
guy.
I was a WCW person up to a certain point,
Right.
like, and then I was like, "What's this garbage?" And then I think the Austin 316 craze is what really got me,
Yeah.
and
How
that's
old
what,
were you back in 2011
or
or
2001.
2001, excuse me. Yeah, yeah.
I would have been 15.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Yeah. That makes sense. You're a teenager. You're
yeah,
over here yelling "suck it" to the teachers and shit.
exactly. And we had
Flipping
like
them off.
Sable and stuff,
Yeah.
So it was just different. I was a teenager, so I
Yeah.
was like, "Ooh, what's this? This is a little
Right.
naughty. This is probably what I shouldn't watch, but I'm gonna watch it anyway because it's wrestling." And it's
Right. But I was like thinking today, I'm like, that was probably the best time in our lifetimes, was like back when you're allowed to be as vulgar as possible and not get canceled and not offend people as easy and
hmm
stuff. Like, I feel like maybe that was the best time to be alive besides today
It kind of
because
was,
what's
and that was
happening
right
today.
before all the transition started to happen with the PC police and all that thing happening.
Right.
All the programming started changing after that, not just wrestling, but everything did.
Right, right. So I was thinking about that today. I'm like, that era was probably like or maybe maybe it's just an opinion thing. It is an opinion thing, but it was my favorite
I don't know.
time
If you
of
ask almost any wrestling fan, and I would say almost any wrestling fan, the Attitude Era was the greatest era of wrestling of all time.
yeah, yeah, because yeah, WrestleMania 17, that was
Oh,
when I was like, yeah, that's the best.
17, boy. That was a good one.
hmm Right. I
Rock
was
Austin.
so that was around when I was like, I can do this. I'm like, I want to be a wrestler too.
That's kind of, yeah, a
And
little bit before that when the Hardy Boys started really taking
mhm,
off. I was like, I want to be a Hardy Boy.
right.
I'm Kevin Hardy. I'm the
Right,
long
right.
lost Hardy Boy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's when I started believing that my actual name was Get Down From There because I
Yeah.
was climbing on shit all the time.
Don't do that. That
Yeah,
was my nickname.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was wild. I still am. I just need to I'm a little bit more controlled now. You know, a
A little bit.
little bit of controlled chaos
Just a little
is
though.
what it is.
So a little bit of controlled chaos. So nowadays, you actually kind of get to live that dream out a little bit, right?
Yeah,
Aren't you participating in some wrestling training down there in Vegas?
yeah. I found out that there's a promotion down here, which we don't have in Idaho, as far as I know, or didn't back then.
Not back then. There is one in Boise now, and I would like
Mm,
to start one here. I think it would be really awesome. But yeah.
cool. I feel like I could trust your booking. Yeah, I went to an event down here. That was where I saw Karrion Cross. He was the champion at FSW, and I think he was facing Funny Bone and what's his name? Something Mac. But yeah, that's when I was like, holy shit, there's wrestling here. And
And so
you
you
know,
were like,
I
"Oh, how do I get involved in this?"
exactly. Well, I didn't jump right away. I
No,
was still
obviously, because you're like,
yeah, it was 2020. When everyone was I realized everyone was dying who wasn't healthy. I didn't know anything about COVID and stuff, but I knew I need to get healthy or I'm gonna die is kind of
right,
was my mindset. And as I got healthy and strong, I'm like, well, while I don't have all these bills to pay or work and stuff, like I'm gonna go and see what's up with FSW. So I went there and it was amazing. You know how good it feels to take your very first back bump
I've ne-
in a wrestling ring?
I've never taken one
Oh,
in a wrestling ring, but
oh my
I
goodness.
mean I've
When
done
you
it
come
many
down
years
here,
on the trampoline and stuff.
when you come down here, I'll try to introduce you to the wrestling ring. Maybe get
I
you
would
inside. We'll see.
love that.
Oh
I'd be
man,
like a
yeah,
little
there's
kid
nothing
in the
like it.
candy store, dude. I'd be like, woo!
Yeah, not only that, but the wrestling ring there at FSW was a WCW ring. So I
Oh,
was like, yeah, the history behind that match right there, and
wow.
those those turnbuckles, that's WCW history right there.
So FSW, Future Stars of Wrestling, for those of you
Yep.
that don't know, um,
Mhm.
this guy he's been training. He does have an injury, so he doesn't get to perform all that
Yeah,
often. But just
right.
before Halloween, you got to participate in a gimmick battle royal, and you
Yeah, I can
you
do
played the
that.
Hollywood Rock.
Hollywood Rock. Yep, that
How
was
was
fun
that,
because,
man?
well, the funnest thing is like, how do I pull off the charismaticness that comes with The Rock and shit? I didn't know exactly what to do besides talk shit. So like all I did was just talk shit with my beer pong championship
Yeah, is that what that
and
belt was? I was trying to read it and
yeah,
stuff. I
beer
wasn't
pong
sure.
champions. Fuck, I played beer pong the other night. I lost like all 4 games. Luckily, the title wasn't on the line, but next time, I swear, I'm gonna revive myself from these 4 losses in a row of beer pong. But I'm still the champion, by the way. Uh,
So you're
yeah,
coming out with the beer pong championship. I saw you, and
yeah,
you were kind of doing like the rock point and shake your head and like I'll slap you down, jabroni. And I kind of saw you
right.
getting all into the gimmick a little bit.
Oh yeah, that was fun. Well, okay, so for those who don't know, I started training. I was in it. I was I was even like I couldn't even like think of music for a while. I was in it.
Yeah,
And
it did. It halted your music career. That's no joke.
right, that was part of the inconsistency I spoke about.
Hmm.
But my very first training match, I got a concussion. Then I kept getting concussions. I'm like, why? Why is this happening? And I remembered that back when I was, I think, 10 or 11, I got ran over by a car, fractured my skull. I kind of had to learn how to walk again. It was like a thing. It's kind of a crazy thing, and that injury kind of just lingers.
Mm.
So, so I can be part of a battle royal. I can probably even have a match or two, but I probably can't
But you
be
can't be
there
like a
week to
full
week.
on participant doing it
Right,
on the
fucking
daily.
fight forever in the ring. I don't know if I'll get that chance ever.
So that's why you're
But
behind the camera.
yeah, so I'm the cameraman. Well, I was cameraman, because I'm really good with the camera, um, so that was kind of a way to help pay my dues. It costs to train.
Oh
So,
yes, it does.
I would do graphics for them. I do video. I do the production team stuff for FSW, and that's kind of how I paid my dues. And yeah, so now I'm proud of that role. I like being a cameraman. I have the best seat in the house.
Oh, dude, you're
It's
front
just-
row every time.
yeah, I've gotten
Everybody's six
kicked a
feet
few
your seat.
times. Exactly. So you can see us FSW, Future Stars of Wrestling on Roku, on Amazon Fire TV, and on Triller TV, formerly known as Fight TV, 2 times a month. And that's where you can find us, and you can see my bald head holding the camera, see my angles. For
Every
those
once in a
watching
while,
at home,
you do get to see his bald head. It's pretty bald
yeah,
head,
it's shiny. Yeah, it's shiny.
And it's like The Rock says, it's a choice.
Yeah, it is a choice.
When I met you, you had really long hair, so I know.
Right, I did, huh? Those cornrows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was growing it out right before I moved. I had this big old Filipino fro going on.
So you're
Yep.
training wrestling. Didn't you tell me that the actual training academy it's headed up by Jake Roberts?
Yeah, he used to be one of the main trainers there. I trained with him one time, which was amazing. I was like,
I can
holy shit,
imagine, dude. That's Jake the
Roberts.
Snake Roberts. He's one of the greatest
Yeah,
minds of all of wrestling.
Exactly. And they have the best trainers there. Shout out Cody, Remy, Sin Bodhi. We had TJP training there too, I believe last Wednesday. Um, yeah, Gregory Sharp. We have the best people, and the reason why I say that is because they're the ones who trained Karrion Cross, and he got signed by WWE. And then they're the ones who trained Lacey, excuse me, Zoe Stark,
Zoe
and she
Stark.
got,
Yep.
yeah, that was her name before Zoe Stark.
Yep.
We called her Lacey, and she got signed. And now you got people like Jordan Oasis and Ice Williams. They just got WWE ID'd, so you're gonna start seeing them. And you see in other promotions, Matt Vandergriff, you'll see Jay Vidal, and I believe that they're gonna make it to the WWE, and even the top. So like the best names are come
Most of
like
them started at FSW. One of the
yeah,
biggest
Solo
names,
Sikoa. I
yeah,
need to I need to say
exactly
Solo.
what I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
right.
One of the
Can't forget
biggest
Solo.
names right now is Solo Sequoia, and
Exactly.
he's battling with the tribal chief. This guy started down there in Vegas with you.
Yep. There's nothing like when an Uso says "Sup, Us" to you. It's like, whoa, shit. He just called me Us.
He called me Us. He called me bro,
Right. Yeah,
because
yeah.
that's a
That
whole
was that
nother
was a
line
cool
of
thing.
respect to the Samoan and
Hmm.
the Polynesian culture. And I mean,
Yep.
technically, you're Filipino. You're right there with them.
Yeah,
You're
we're all from the islands.
you're from the islands.
Different islands, but we're from islands.
But that's pretty
Yeah.
cool, man. You get to train with some stars and literally future stars that are
Right.
WWE ID.
They all come in. We just had formerly known as Sasha Banks. She came in to train recently. There's, people, I probably shouldn't say this, but Rey Mysterio and MJF had a match, a dark match, in training there too. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, it's crazy. We always have famous wrestlers coming through those doors.
I love that. That's so
Yeah.
awesome. I'm kind of jealous.
Yeah, it's like when Dean Ambrose left WWE and
Yeah,
became John
John
Moxley.
Moxley. Yeah,
Yeah, the very first place he went to was FSW.
before he went to Game Changer, right? He was at FSW,
Hmm.
and then he went
I
to
think
Game Changer, started evolving
right,
into the Moxley hardcore character,
right.
and
New
then
Japan.
New Japan, and then
Yep,
All In started, which is now
yep.
AEW.
Yeah, and he was the biggest wrestler then. And I remember filming for Bloodsport, and he just randomly shows up there too. I'm like,
Mm,
damn.
yep,
Like you just never know. If you go to a wrestling event, most likely you'll see John Moxley. He'll just randomly show up.
right.
That's what I'm starting to believe.
Well, man, let's bring it back together a little bit. So
Yeah,
we got the new album coming out today. Everybody needs to check it out. And what's the
I made an
YouTube
album in
channel?
December. My YouTube channel, if you just at or hashtag LFDY33, you'll find everything.
You'll find it all,
So
guys.
yeah, there's the easiest way. That's the easiest way to give it to you guys.
And once you're
Just
done with
at
that, because
hashtag
it's only 15 minutes, go on to Spotify,
yeah,
check out
15
some
minute listen.
33 Deep stuff. There's Appreciate the Vibes on there.
Right.
Um,
Thanks.
he's got the Homies album on there under.
Homies collaboration album. I'm gonna start this whole collaboration series called Homies, which we have merch that keeps on selling. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna keep on making Homies albums.
You might as well. And you
Right.
got homies that keep writing songs. You might as well keep making
Hmm.
music together.
Exactly. Got the Cushy soundtrack, and I want to make another Cushy soundtrack. So that's there on Spotify as well. I have my solo material on there, and yeah, I'm trying to figure. I don't want to say too much, but you're not. You're probably not gonna see me on these main platforms forever. I don't want to say too much, but I'm trying to figure something else out that may just shake the world of music, and that's what the plan is.
I would love to see it. I would love to see it happen.
You're going to. Everyone will. Everyone gets to see this.
Well, I can't wait to listen to the album. Matter of fact, as soon as we're done, I'm gonna listen to this bad boy because it is a banger, man.
Yeah, hell yeah. I can't wait. I need to edit one thing in the album cover. I just finished editing or designing the album cover. I'm gonna turn my computer on right now and just make one little adjustment, and then the album is ready to post.
That's awesome. I can't wait. I can't wait to
Yep.
hear it, the whole thing in its
Yeah, baby.
entirety. I've only listened to those 3 songs, guys, that I played for you, and I made clips out of them. So I only know just as much as you do. So I cannot wait to listen to this thing
Really?
myself.
Hell yeah. That's I'm about to post it all right now. So by the time you listening to this, it'll be posted.
It'll be posted and ready to go. Check them out.
Okay.
LFDY 33 on YouTube, and
I made an album in December.
I made an album in December, and
Motherfuckers.
motherfuckers, it
That's a
started
shirt right there.
in November.
Motherfuckers. Right. Yup. Spud Kingdom.
All right,
You
thanks,
know.
my brother, for joining me. I really appreciate you.
Thank you, brother. We need to talk some more because we have a deep history. We could talk forever
We could, man. We could. We could talk
the
about
whole
all sorts
history,
of stuff.
everything.
We could talk about appreciate the vibe probably on its own for a whole hour, and
Right.
everything that we did in between, and all the different stuff that was going on,
Exactly.
driving
We could talk about
around.
how we met
Yeah, we met
fucking for hours.
flipping
Yeah.
burgers. Anyway, that's another story, another day.
Yeah. But I'll start somewhere.
We all start somewhere. Even him started at Burger King. He mentions it in a few of his songs.
Oh,
So
okay. We all start somewhere.
we all start somewhere. Once again, thanks, brother. I appreciate you. Go check him
Thank
out.
you,
I
brother.
made an album in December. It's on YouTube, LFDY 33. Check it out. Thanks, brother.
Motherfuckers. All right.
Oh my gosh, where did it go?
I want to thank you, John, LFDY, my boy Berna, for joining me and being my first guest and getting this thing launched on day 33. Here it is, 2225. It's officially live. Thank you, my boy, for actually getting me motivated to get it to go through. This podcast has been in the episode works for a long time. I just needed a little bit of motivation to get the ball rolling. And my boy had an album dropping today, so I figured, why not? Let's start with him. So I hope you all enjoyed that. That's the first episode of the Basement Cuts podcast. Join me next week. I don't have an official date and time yet. I'll post all that up on Facebook. This was just kind of a special edition dropping today. So join me next week, though. I'm going to go find me a new interview. I have a few of you that hit me up on Facebook saying that you're ready to get down and talk a little bit. So I'll be hitting you guys up. So once again, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you next time.